أوله وآخره. If I make a mistake, you should correct me. And I did make a mistake. And a student from Switzerland corrected me. The ayah of the Quran, لِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَكِنْ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِيمَا آتَاكُمْ فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَرْجِعُكُمْ جَمِيعًا فَيُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. That Allah has given to mankind several different Sharia. This is not in Surah Al-Rum, but in Surah Al-Ma'idah. So he corrected me. May Allah bless him for that. We began with the ayah from Surah Yunus. Al-yawm nunajjika bi-badanik. This day we have ordained that your physical body be preserved. Fir'aun. لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. That your physical body, when it is recovered, would function as a sign for people to come after you. The sign being that there will be a divine intervention, as there was a divine intervention with the water party. That divine intervention would be the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And then a people who live the way you lived will die the way you died. And we identified those people. We identified them. The Jewish-Christian Zionist Alliance, which has NATO as its military arm, which today has given to the world a new monetary system of paper, plastic and electronic money, which is not taught in our institutions of Islamic learning. No. This is international monetary economics and it is not taught. So they don't know the subject. This is the same people who've taken the dinar and dirham that Allah made halal. Allah made it halal, didn't He? And they made it haram. In the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund, you can check it out. It is prohibited to use dinar as money. And if you make haram what Allah made halal, what is that sin called? Shirk. Shirk. And if you accept it and you follow them in it, you commit shirk. So these are the people now who live the way he lived and who will die the way he died. The first time the divine intervention took place, maybe Banu Israel may have taken a few hours to cross the Red Sea, maybe a few hours, and then Fir'aun and his forces following. So maybe within one day the whole thing took place. But this time, it won't be that short. We go to Surah An-Nisa, and they boasted of how they killed him. وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. They boasted of how they killed him. And then Allah explained, no you did not. Allah made it appear to you that you crucified him, but you did not. Allah raised him. So he did not experience Maut. What is the definition of maut? The definition of maut is when Allah takes the soul and does not return it. That is maut. So Nabi Isa alayhi salam has not yet experienced maut. And Allah says, Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Every soul must taste maut, so he has to come back. But then he goes on to say, listen carefully, at that time when he comes back, وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. At that time when he returns, none of these people belonging to Ahlul Kitab. Allah is not speaking about every Christian and every Jew. No. Which ones is he talking about? بَعْدُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. He's talking about the Jewish-Christian alliance which today rules the world, the Zionist Alliance. They are the ones waging war on Islam. And if you become their friends and allies, Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. Whosoever from amongst you become their friends and allies, you belong to them. And when you go in the grave, you will then learn to your horror that you are not a Muslim. You are not recognized as a Muslim. Why? وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّ. It's good to read the Quran, isn't it? Huh? Better than CNN. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. Whosoever from amongst you turn to them with friendship and alliance, belong to them. You don't belong to us anymore. They don't like me at all, you know. Yes. وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. None of these people belonging to Ahlul Kitab, namely the Jews and the Christians who are allies of each other, the Zionists, none of them will escape. But rather, they will have to believe the way Fir'aun believed. Fir'aun rejected the truth that came with Musa alayhi salam. The Zionists reject the truth which came with Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. That truth proclaimed that Nabi Isa alayhi salam is Al-Masih, the Messiah, and that he is Nabi. And every Zionist will have to believe in that when he returns. Before Nabi Isa alayhi salam dies, every single one of them will have to believe in that. I was invited to a synagogue in New Jersey to give a lecture. About 200 Jews were present. And I explained this to them right there in the synagogue. At that time, you still had freedom in the United States to speak. When the lecture was over, they surrounded me. They were not surrounding me, threatening me, no. They were bewildered. They couldn't understand. They were puzzled. Why? They asked me, why should we be forced to accept that which we have rejected. Why? Answer: why did Fir'aun accept that which he rejected? Answer: when that moment comes, the veils will be removed from off your eyes. The veils will be removed from off your eyes. And on that day, فَبَصَرَكُ الْيَوْمَ الْحَدِيدِ, on that day your vision will be sharp. You'll be able to see and recognize the truth. And so they will die, proclaiming the truth. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. But in the same way, the proclamation of faith by Fir'aun did not help him. Still going to Jahannam, and all his followers. Similarly, at that time when the Zionists proclaimed the faith in Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and in the Quran, it's not going to help them. They will die knowing they're going into the hellfire. Now there remains one more thing before we can end. The return of the Islamic Khilafah. The Sharia of Islam, or the Islamic law, and I am so happy to learn that His Majesty the Sultan of this country has declared his intention that he wants to establish Islamic law in this country. This is music in our ears, mashallah. And may Allah make it possible for him. But if you are to establish Sharia, then someone has to explain what are the implications. The money that you use is a part of your Sharia. The money that you use is a part of your Sharia. And the Sharia has given to you dinar and dirham. And the Judeo-Christian Zionist Alliance has given you bid'ah. Bid'ah. The money that we are now using is an innovation. It is bid'ah. It is more than bid'ah. It is bogus, it is fraudulent, it is haram, and it has functioned as an instrument of economic exploitation and financial enslavement of the people. But we're too busy eating roti canai and drinking teh tarik and eating durian to study the subject of international monetary economics. If you want to enforce the Sharia, not only do you have to bring back dinar and dirham as money, but more than that. I mentioned it 2 nights ago. If you are to bring back dinar and dirham as money, it's not sufficient for you to buy some dirhams and keep it at home. No. You have to go to the shop and buy something and offer to pay for it in dirham. And when the shopkeeper says, I don't want dirham, then very gently, don't be arrogant, be very gentle and persuasive and explain to the man, because he does not know, that if you reject that which is halal and demand that which is haram, if you reject that which is in the Sharia and demand that which is bid'ah, you commit sin. And you will answer for that sin on Judgment Day. So you all have a duty now to perform, to buy dirhams, not dinar too expensive, dirhams, and then start using the dirhams to get people to become aware that you have a religious obligation to accept the dirham when it is offered in purchase of things. Not only do you need to restore money in the Sharia, but more than that. You cannot enforce the Sharia, without Khilafah. No. What is Khilafah? Khilafah is the political system and model of a state which recognizes Allah as Al-Malik, which recognizes Allah as Al-Malik, the sovereign. If you do not recognize Allah as Al-Malik, or the sovereign, you are only playing games with the Sharia. You are playing games with the Sharia. Because this is the foundation of the Sharia. The very foundation is the recognition of Allah as Al-Malik, the sovereign. Only the Khilafah state recognize Allah as Al-Malik. No state in the modern world, none, not even Iran, none, recognizes Allah as Al-Malik. You cannot recognize Allah as Al-Malik and still be a member of the United Nations organization. What you got? Roti chana in your head? Huh? Instead of brains, you got tetarik in your head? Have you no sense? Are you that ignorant, that foolish? Huh? That backward in your thinking? You have no knowledge at all. You cannot recognize Allah as Al-Malik and yet remain a member of the United Nations organization. You cannot recognize Allah as Al-Malik and yet remain a member of the International Monetary Fund. This is the state of knowledge today. Knowledge has disappeared. Disappeared. And nobody is teaching this anymore. But I want to say something more tonight before I end. You know a man named Hugo Chavez? Venezuela? Yeah. When Israel launched its attack on Gaza in November for a few days, Venezuela responded by abolishing all visa restrictions on Palestinians. A Palestinian does not require a visa to enter Venezuela. No. And when he enters Venezuela, he can apply for asylum. Hugo Chavez is a Christian. He's Roman Catholic, he's not Muslim. Huh? Well, let me tell you what is our Khilafah state. Because nobody knows it anymore. You know how to use a cellular phone. You know how to do this and that and that and that, and I don't know how to do it. But you do not know what is your Khilafah state anymore. When Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, and Imam al-Mahdi is our Imam, do you think that all of these Republic of Egypt and Republic of Pakistan and of Bangladesh and of Morocco and of Iran and Syria, all of these will remain, survive? Huh? No. They will not survive as independent countries. Why? The Quran says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. All the believers are brothers to each other. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. If we are brothers to each other, then I have the right to enter Arabia. I have the right to go to the Kaaba. Every pagan Arab had that right. Even a pagan Arab worshipping idols made of wood and stone had that right. No one could stop it. To go to the Kaaba, to go to Medina. This is my right. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. Do I have that right today? No. I need a visa. And if I get a visa for 2 weeks, and I spend 2 months, and they catch me, guess what they'll do with me? Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. They put you in jail. You could start declaring Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa as much as you want. It's not going to help you. Some of them will even give you a caning. If you put me in jail because I overstay, on Judgment Day I'll pray to Allah to put you in jail. And if you cane me because I overstayed, on Judgment Day I'll ask Allah to cane you instead. You must get the same amount of lashes you gave to me. Only that is justice. Because in the Khilafah state, every Muslim has the right to enter. You do not need a visa. But who teaches that subject today? Huh? Every Muslim has the right to enter. You don't need a visa. Every Muslim has the right to reside. They can't understand that. Because all that they have in their brains is Tetarik. That's all they have in their brains today. They don't understand this. They object to their own Sharia. They raise objections to their own Sharia. That's the kind of Muslims we have today. Every Muslim has the right to reside in Darul Islam. Who uses the term Darul Islam anymore? Instead we have something called a cosmetic Sharia. Ever heard the term before? Cosmetic Sharia. That's what you have in Saudi Arabia. And I feel so sad to say it. I really feel sad to say it. That is where Ikhwan is taking Egypt today. Every Muslim has the right to reside in Darul Islam. You don't need PR. No. Every Muslim has the right to seek his livelihood in Darul Islam. You don't need a work permit. These are simple things. This is our Sharia. And this is what is coming back. When Imam al-Mahdi comes and Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, we are not waiting for that day. No. We are saying it from now. So it is recorded in our books. The angels are writing as we speak. So it is recorded in our book. So when we stand for judgment on that day, it is there that we did speak on the subject. One last thing now remains. How long do we have to wait for all of this to go down the drain and the Khilafah state to come? How long do we have to wait for Imam al-Mahdi to come? There's one question you must not ask me. Don't send me an email asking me, Sheikh, is he born as yet? Sheikh, will he be an Indonesian? Imam al-Mahdi is Arab. So if anybody says he's Imam al-Mahdi and he can't speak Arabic, ask him to leave. Imam al-Mahdi is from the seed of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, from his daughter Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha. Imam al-Mahdi would be with a broad forehead and a prominent nose. His name will be my name and his father's name will be my father's name. So Muhammad ibn Abdullah. A Khalifa will die. Hizb ut-Tahrir insist, because of this hadith, a Khalifa would die. And there would be disagreement concerning succession. And at that time, a man will come out of Medina and hurry to Mecca. And the people of Mecca will come out to him and force him to accept the bay'ah at the Kaaba. And he will proclaim that I am Imam al-Mahdi. So Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is an organization I admire. Oh yes, I do. Hizb ut-Tahrir declares, because of this hadith, that Khilafah will be restored before the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. Wrong. Wrong. The word Khalifa here does not stand for Khilafah ala minhaj al-Nabuwah. Any ruler is called Khalifa here. My opinion, it's a Saudi king who will die. And when the Saudi king dies, there will be disagreement concerning succession. It should be clear that that should not be long from now. Because there are 5,000 Saudi princes already fighting amongst themselves. Yeah? They have a problem on their hands. That's Saudi Arabia. How long again? Is it going to be the present king, Abdullah? Or is it going to be his successor who will die? We don't know. But I'd like to give you a time frame before I end. When he proclaims himself to be the Mahdi, then an army will attack him from Sham. And Sham, the heart of Sham, is Syria. And when an army crosses Medina on its way south to Mecca, the earth will open and swallow that army. This is the third of the three khusuf, or sinkings of the earth. One in the east, one in the west, and one in Arabia. Three of the 10 major signs. When that army is swallowed by the earth, that is a sign which confirms this is Imam al-Mahdi. Not eclipse. This one. Then the Abdal from Sham and Syria will come to Mecca to offer bay'ah to the Imam. Who are the Abdal? Abdal from Badal. The Sufis have hijacked the term Abdal, as they have hijacked bay'ah. Abdal are not some mysterious individuals living in the shadows who rule the world. And there are 40 of them. Abdal are those Badal, who are engaged in the jihad. And when one dies, another one takes his place. And one dies, another one takes his place. When the fellows from Brooklyn are being sent to fight in Afghanistan, Uncle Sam has to offer them green card and housing loan and student loan and this loan and that loan and jobs and so on to buy them. And when they go to fight, they're not fighting for a cause. They're fighting because of the money they get. But on this side, there is no shortage. No. No matter how many you kill, there are others who will replace them until the jihad succeeds. This is why they are called the Abdal. Uncle Sam could take that in his pipe and smoke it if he wants. That's our side of the story. We don't need to offer green cards. And when the Abdal come and they take the bay'ah at the hands of Imam al-Mahdi, then he'll be attacked by an army of the Kalb, of the Quraysh. And he'll defeat that army. And great will be the Anfal from that victory. Then Darul Islam is restored. And the Zionist kingdom of Saudi Arabia goes back into the garbage bin. When Darul Islam is restored, that is the greatest threat of all to the state of Israel. How soon will that be? If you read my book, Jerusalem in the Quran, this book explains the hadith about a day like a year, a day like a month, a day like a week. Dajjal passes through three stages before he appears in our world as a human being. By my analysis, stage 1 is already gone with Pax Britannica. Stage 2 is now ending with Pax Americana, with the United States in irreversible decline and the US dollar in irreversible meltdown. And stage 3 is about to commence. I wish I had more time to explain more about the commencement of stage 3 and the big wars which are now coming. But it is only when stage 3 is finished, when a day which is like a week is completed, only then will the khuruj of Dajjal take place. He's already released. He's finished stage 1, he's finished stage 2, stage 3 is now commencing. The feminist revolution is from him. The monetary system is from him. The modern state with state sovereignty is from him. But he has not as yet experienced his khuruj. The khuruj of Dajjal will take place after the Malhama. The Malhama being the great war between the two superpowers, the United States-led alliance and the Russia-led alliance. And after that, the Fathul Constantiniya, or the conquest of Constantinople, has to take place. And only then will the world witness the khuruj of Dajjal. After the khuruj of Dajjal, then, I believe, only then will Imam al-Mahdi arise, not before. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. How long do we have for that? When I give a number, if I say about 20-25 years, I can be wrong. Of course, I can be wrong. But I'm venturing to offer an answer only to make it easy for you to understand. It's not 200 years. No, it's not 2,000 years. So we probably have another 20-25 years again before all these visa restrictions are abolished. At that time, when Israel becomes the ruling state in the world, and Dajjal now emerges as the ruler of Israel. No Jew will accept Dajjal as the Messiah if Israel is using paper money or electronic money. Because every Jew knows that this is bogus and haram. So Israel will have to restore dinar and dirham as money. What a shame it would be. What a disgrace it would be that the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam would then go back to dinar and dirham only after Israel returns to dinar and dirham. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may give you light with which to see and give you courage and backbone to stand up and to teach the religion as it ought to be taught in Akhir al-Zaman. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم.